we're joined by a great friend of the ACLJ and a champion for life, Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma. And Senator Lankford, it's great to have you. Let me just go right to it. You sent a letter because we have the VA Secretary, Dennis McDonough, basically bragging about how they performed their first abortion. Now, they didn't get into a lot of details. I felt like I said this earlier in the broadcast. I feel like they almost want to get across as like they're open now as like a VA abortion clinic, even though they haven't provided those details yet. But in your letter, you clearly laid out that federal law prohibits them from providing abortion services. So, Senator Lankford, what is going on at the VA?
Yeah, this is President Biden trying to find every way he can to expand abortion in America. He is absolutely obsessed with increasing the number of abortions in America, and his new way of doing that is turning VA hospitals into abortion clinics. In 1992, Congress passed a law dealing specifically with reproductive health for women that are veterans, but in that 1992 law specifically prohibited abortions. Dennis McDonough and the president are just ignoring the law and saying we want to provide abortions to veterans, and so we are going to do that, and we're going to do it on demand in any trimester, late term, early term, doesn't matter. They're going to do abortions as much as they can.
Senator, I'm holding Section 106 of the code in my hand, and it says, it says, the Secretary of Veterans Affairs may provide to women the following health care services. Then it lists them. Then under general reproductive health care, it says specifically not including under this section abortions. So the law couldn't be any clearer. It says that's not under VA health care for women, abortion services.
That is correct. And that is not only is it very, very clear in the law, they're also trying to get around every state law as well. States like mine that want to protect the life of every single child, they're basically putting out the welcome sign to say, hey, you can't get an abortion in the state. We're going to bring you onto federal property, and we're going to do abortions here instead. And so this is, again, Biden trying to increase the number of abortions in America. It is his obsession.
You know, Senator, I've got a follow-up, and that is this. You know, we said after the Dobbs decision that it was likely that the abortion industry was going to go into overdrive on the states. But they have a partner here, and it's not Planned Parenthood I'm talking about. The partner they have in their drive is actually the Biden administration. As you said, they are so committed to this abortion issue that they're doing everything in their power to make abortion rights expanded as their reaction to Dobbs.
Yeah, that's correct. And let me give you an example of that. They'll say, for instance, in the VA center, they'll say, well, this is about rape and incest, or this is about health and life of the mother. But then they specifically state in that, no police reports, no questions on this. If you come in and be able to say, hey, this is a rape, we're not going to do any follow-up. We're just going to take your word on it. We're going to continue to be able to move forward on it. And it's also health of the mother, so that would be any reason at all that you could say financial health of the mother, or it could be, you know what, I'm just not comfortable at this stage in my life to be able to be there. I'm not sure that's going to work. All of those things will qualify for them to do abortions at any single stage. So even states that come in that say we're going to limit abortion and we won't do late-term abortions, the VA is already saying, no, we're going to do abortions at any stage at any time.
You know, Senator, this to me, I think we're in this post-Dobbs world. What this is a reminder of, and we told people, is be ready for a battle. Yes, it was worth obviously still celebrating overturning of Roe versus Wade, but now we have to take the battle. Whether it's the battle in the states, like your state in Oklahoma, or the federal battle, it is one that I think we need to do a lot of education for people, a lot of issue advocacy for people so they understand, because I think right now, if you look at what's happening across the country, there is an abortion movement, kind of like wave happening, and it's time for us to counteract it.
It is, actually. And we engage with people with truth and with love, and we speak out for the value of every single child. We know we're encountering people that I call child deniers. They just will not admit that that's a child in the womb, and so they just deny the obvious scientific fact of a child being there, and they say this is all about convenience. We're speaking out for the value of every single child. And what I simply say to people is, I understand this is a difficult challenge, and there's all kinds of issues that are wrapped around this on the future, but there's a child in the process here. We've got to discuss this child, and I don't think some children are valuable and some children are disposable. I think every child is valuable, and when we begin the conversation by talking about that child, then we're beginning at the spot that I think we need to be. This is not about the convenience of adults. I'm a I'm a parent myself. Children are not always convenient, but the simple fact is children are valuable and important, and they're to be honored. And so what are we going to do to be able to honor the life and the value of every single child?
Yeah, Senator Lankford, I just want to also thank you for what you wrote in your letter about abortion is not and will never be health care. Health care protects life. And I think that's an important point that you made, and we're very grateful that you always do stand up for life.
Yeah, there's an important principle here that healthcare protects life, abortion takes life. And so this is not about expanding healthcare options. This is about protecting the life of every single individual, no matter how tall they are.
So let me ask you this, Senator, because this is going to be the question that our entire audience, on whether they're watching on our social medias or TV or radio, they're going to ask this. And that is, what you've got this letter out. What do you expect to happen? What can happen here? What can we do to stop this?
A couple of things. The VA first announced the policy. They put out what's called an interim final rule. They said we're doing it, and then after the fact, then they're saying we're taking comments on this.
File comments, yeah.
So this is everyone filing comments, and it's not just saying, "Hey, I know an organization that filed a comment, and I believe in that organization." I'm encouraging individuals to file a comment on this to say, let's just let the VA know from all over the country. Here's what we believe about not only following the law, but of the value of every single child as well. And so they've got all those comments that are there. We continue to be able to pray. We make comments. We speak out on these issues, and we'll have legal challenges that are going to happen. I mean, you guys have been experts at this to be able to work through the legal challenges. When you break the law, you should have legal consequences for that.
Senator Lankford, I know we're going to get our groups activated. We've got technology set up, through our ACLJ Action account, so people can submit their own comments and issues like that. So we'll get that going and ready to go. I want to thank you for bringing attention to this, because I want people to understand, one, they're flouting the law, and two, we're fighting back, and we've got a champion like you in Washington, D.C., leading that charge for us, Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma. Thanks for being with us.
We appreciate it, Senator. Thanks so much.